Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking on a one of the most influential novels of the last few decades, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
That's right. And our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the philosophical heart of it. We're focusing on the journey of the shepherd, Santiago.
And that core idea he's chasing, the personal legend. This isn't just a book report for us, we're treating it as a roadmap, really.
An allegorical one, for sure. The book is almost less of a story and more of a guide on how to, trust your intuition, to see the signs the world is sending you.
So let's set the scene. We start with Santiago, a shepherd in Andalusia, and he's content, right? He has his flock, he can read, he's got his routine.
He does, but there's this restlessness just under the surface.
Which comes out in this recurring dream he keeps having.
Exactly. A dream about a treasure hidden near the Egyptian pyramids. And the book immediately frames this not as just some random fantasy, but as a real call to action, an omen.
Okay, so we have to define this right away. What exactly is the personal legend? It's clearly more than just a life goal.
Oh, much more. The personal legend is your unique purpose. It's the destiny the universe has for you. It's not something you invent. It's something you have to discover.
By listening to yourself, basically.
By listening to your soul, as Coelho would put it. And he argues that when you ignore that calling, you settle. And that's when life starts to feel, dissatisfying.
Which brings us right to that first huge test for Santiago, the trade-off. He has his flock, that's his job, his security, his whole future planned out, and he sells it all.
All of it, based on the advice of a mysterious old king he just met.
It's a massive risk, giving up everything he knows for something he literally just dreamed about.
And that's the first big philosophical point the book makes. You can't even begin to pursue your true potential, your legend, if you aren't willing to risk the comfort you've built out of fear.
That choice, that act of selling the sheep is the price of admission.
It's the prerequisite. And it's what triggers that very famous and maybe most debated line in the book.
When you truly desire something, the entire universe conspires to help you achieve it. It can sound a little simplistic, maybe?
It can. And that's where the nuance is so important. Because this help from the universe isn't a free pass. It's not easy.
Right. Because what's the first thing that happens to him?
The first thing is he gets robbed of every cent he has the moment he gets to Tangier.
So the universe conspires to help by letting him fail completely.
Precisely. The conspiracy isn't about removing the obstacles. It's about providing the right ones. Those setbacks are the curriculum.
The lessons he needs to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has to learn what it's like to have nothing, to be resilient, to build himself back up from scratch. That failure isn't a detour, it's the path itself.
And he's just completely disillusioned at that point. It's a real low point.
It is, but that's when the teachers start to appear, these omens in human form, and his real education begins.
Okay, let's get into these characters, because like you said, they're more than just people. They're walking arguments for different ways to live.
They're mirrors, really. Each one shows him a different path he could take.
So first we have King Melchizedek, who sets him on the path. He's the one who teaches him about omen.
He is, and he gives him those stones, Urim and Thummim, for yes and no.
Right.
But he also warns him, don't rely on these too much. The lesson is that guidance is good, but ultimately you have to make your own choices. You can't outsource your intuition.
Then, in Tangier, he meets the crystal merchant. And this character is... honestly, he's a little heartbreaking.
He really is. He's the perfect embodiment of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The person who doesn't follow their personal legend.
Because he's afraid.
Deeply. He has this lifelong dream to go to Mecca, but he's afraid to do it.
And it's not just a fear of failure. He's actually afraid of succeeding. He says, if my dream is fulfilled, I'll have no reason to live.
It's a staggering idea, isn't it? That
Yeah.
some people prefer the dream itself, the anticipation,
Yes.
over the reality of achieving it. He's built this comfortable cage for himself out of his routine.
And Santiago sees that. He learns from the merchants in action.
He does. He learns patience, for sure, working there for a year. But the bigger lesson is a warning. Never settle for good enough when your soul is asking for more.
So then he joins the caravan and meets the next guide, the Englishman.
The Englishman, who is the total opposite of Santiago. He's all books, all theory.
He's trying to learn alchemy by reading about it.
Exactly. He symbolizes this idea of intellectual knowledge that's totally disconnected from experience. He knows all the formulas, but he can't actually do anything.
It's that classic saying, knowing the map versus walking the terrain.
Perfect way to put it. And he's the setup for the real master, the alchemist himself.
Who embodies the final lesson.
Yes. The alchemist isn't carrying a library around. His wisdom comes from doing, from action. He teaches Santiago that the deepest truths are simple, and you learn them by trusting your gut and just acting.
Which brings us to the desert. This feels like the real centerpiece of his transformation. Why the desert? Why is it so important symbolically?
Well, the desert is a purifying crucible. It strips away everything, all the noise, all the distractions of society, they just disappear.
You can't hide from yourself out there.
You can't. You're forced into a direct confrontation with your fear, with your purpose. It's where Santiago learns to listen.
To what the book calls the language of the world.
Right. And this is the alchemist's greatest lesson. It's about moving beyond human language and seeing the connections in everything, the omens.
So like when he sees the hawks fighting and realizes it's a sign of an attack on the oasis.
That's the moment. He's trusting pure instinct over logic. And it culminates in that incredible scene where he has to turn himself into the wind.
That's a terrifying leap of faith.
It's the ultimate test. He has to trust that his soul is connected to the soul of the world to survive. The outer journey has basically forced this massive inner transformation.
We can't talk about the desert without talking about Fatima, though. This is a huge theme for anyone on a journey like this, isn't it? How do you balance love with your personal quest?
And Coelho's take is really interesting. He argues that true love doesn't stop you from pursuing your personal legend.
It deepens it.
It deepens it. It gives it meaning.
Yeah.
Fatima understands that. She tells him to go.
She knows if he stays for her, he'll eventually resent it.
Exactly. Real love, in this philosophy, supports your growth. It doesn't possess you. The journey actually makes him worthy of that love because he returns as a more complete person.
Okay, so that brings us to the end. The famous paradoxical conclusion. After everything, the desert, the alchemist, almost dying, he finds the treasure.
Right back where he started.
Right back under the sycamore tree in Spain. So, what does that mean with the whole journey pointless?
That is the most common and I think the most superficial reading of it. It totally misses the point.
The justification for the journey is the journey itself.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The location of the physical treasure was never really the point. He couldn't have just dug it up at the beginning.
Why not?
Because he wasn't the person who could appreciate it or even keep it. He would have squandered it or gotten robbed again. He didn't have the wisdom.
He had to become the person worthy of the treasure.
Exactly. Only through all that struggle, through all those lessons, did he gain the self-reliance and maturity to understand what true wealth is. The journey is the treasure. That's what he keeps forever.
It shifts the whole idea of wealth from being something you have to something you are.
It's a foundational idea in so many traditions, isn't it? External things are temporary, but the character you forge through experience is permanent. The book is really just a long meditation on trusting that inner voice.
And embracing the uncertainty that comes with it. You have to leave home to find out what home really means.
You do. It's the cycle of the hero's journey.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener, to think about. If the journey truly is the treasure, what existing aspect of your daily life, your starting point, the things you might take for granted, have you been overlooking? What might be the profound reward for all the effort you've already invested just to get to where you are right now? Maybe the treasure's already there, just waiting for you to see it with new eyes.